Hey, I'm seeing some familiar faces, some new faces. I'm so glad that you've joined us this evening. I'm looking for, um, got a few board members on. Um, Hi, Wyatt. Hi, Jenna. And Lily is our co-host this evening. Hi, Megan. Just seeing who all's on. Okay, well, this is just a quick introduction to the virtual conference. We're so grateful you're here. Most of you may know that this is our second time to do a virtual conference. We offered it for the first time in 2021. And at that time, it had been several years since we had met in person at the 2018 virtual conference or in-person conference. And so it was a really well attended, at that time, about a month long of events. So we got smarter this time and going to condense it to just a couple of days. So we'll be meeting together this evening, Friday, and then we'll have various events tomorrow, and then back together again on Saturday as well. So I do hope that you'll look at your calendar for the weekend and pencil us in where you can. But we're so thankful that all of you are here this evening with us. Our lineup for tonight is pretty simple. We're going to do a quick presentation in a few minutes that talks about where we are now as an organization and just kind of talk you through present day Nevus Outreach. And then by the end of the conference, you'll get a feel for where we're headed as an organization. And so where we are now, what's happening in the near future, and then what are some of our goals more longer term. We also have a special presentation by Whitney Casal on our membership program. It is not prime hours for her this evening in Germany. So she'll be joining us via video tonight. And then she'll be back in the morning at 6 a.m. when it's not exactly prime time for me. But I don't know, I might show up for our International Friends meeting that she's going to host tomorrow morning at 6. And then throughout the weekend, we do have a virtual swag bag that we invite you to check out. There's coupon codes and discounts in there. And probably one of our most interesting items is our, we're calling it a virtual scavenger hunt that Lily's put together. I'll let her tell you a little bit about that in a little while. And then we also have just extra bonus resources. So some things that we developed for social media at different points, and some new content as well that will be rolling out throughout the weekend in your email box. So every day you'll get, much like you did this morning, kind of a menu of items for you to select from. And then you can also kind of just see what the sessions are and see where you would want to tune in. So thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. And I'm so thankful that we have such a room full to hear kind of our conference kickoff message. Lily, would you like to talk any about the virtual scavenger hunt specifically?
Yeah, sure. So welcome everyone to our virtual conference. We're really happy to have you here. But like Lauren said, we have a little virtual scavenger hunt embedded in this conference as a way to just increase engagement and add some fun activities. So if you're a parent with a kid at home, there's some fun little challenges to do, like taking silly pictures, or if you're an adult and want to get engaged in the organization, there are also ways that you can earn points by just engaging in the conference by attending sessions or submitting a feedback survey or bidding in the silent auction. So I'll post the link in the chat below in a few minutes, and that just has some information for how to get involved in the scavenger hunt.
Very good. Thank you, Lily. And Lily didn't mention this, but she co-chaired the committee to put this virtual conference together. So her and Whitney have been working very hard, planning each and every intricate detail from the emails that you've received to the beautiful website that was designed to planning the silent auction pieces. So they've been working on this for almost a year. So it's just really cool to see it come together. And we hope that you'll leave with some feeling connected to your Nevus family and with some content that is meaningful and inspiring to each of you. And then we have a few more minutes before our next session. So you can take some time to familiarize yourself with the virtual scavenger hunt information. And then you can also take a minute to look at the schedule for the rest of our time together this weekend. And then also we do have the silent auction that's been running since Monday that will close on Saturday. So be sure to check out the silent auction and we've got some really great packages in there. I told Whitney earlier today that Lily keeps outbidding me on the Thrive Market membership. So we'll see if one of us ends up with that. But anyway, just very thankful that you guys are all here, and we're really excited to kick off a fun weekend of camaraderie and connection with our Nevus community. We also, in the virtual swag bag, there is the virtual background that you see behind me. And so if you'd like to use the virtual background this weekend, feel free. That is linked in the virtual swag bag. So be sure to check that out as well. So I am going to turn this over to I think got a few minutes before she has to move into our next session. So does anybody have any questions? Anything about the virtual conference that you're not sure how to access? You want to ask if your kids are the right age to go in which activities for tomorrow, or anything like that that you might not be clear about? Can we just stay on this Zoom link for the next session? Yes, you can. So this evening's sessions will all be ran from this same Zoom link. I do have to switch up my computer between this session and the next one, so I'll go away for a minute and come back, but that shouldn't take longer than just a few minutes. So other than that, I'm 19. Can I go to the teen game room? You sure can. You're more than welcome to when we have that session. If that's where you feel most comfortable, then absolutely. Is there any other questions? We'd be happy to answer them.
Lauren, I got one. Which is why I raised my hand. So, for people who probably may not be able to make every session, I think we said that they're going to be recorded and available for a month or so. How would people get to those after the conference?
So after the conference, we'll send a full email that has every recording hyperlinked once those recordings are rendered, and that will go out. It'll probably take till the middle of the week before, because you do have to download them from Zoom, and then we'll have to put them somewhere and be able to link them. But probably by Wednesday or so, you'll have an email with all the linked recordings. Does anyone else have any other questions? Kathy, I can say that you saw that you said something and then it went away. Does somebody want to read what that is in the chat?
Hi, Lauren, I can read it. I'm just saying thank you. You guys have worked so hard pulling this together. It's a lot of work, and thank you. Thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome, Kathy. We appreciate it. And we appreciate the opportunity to just have this opportunity. We saw in 2021 how well attended it was from people all over the world, people that probably would never have the opportunity to come to a Nevus conference otherwise. So we felt like this was just a really important opportunity. And we recognize that everyone by 2023 is good and zoomed out and and maybe would prefer to meet together in person, but this will work, and it will serve a purpose for our new families as they get connected and learn about the organization, and serve as a nice way to hold us over until we're together again in 2024. So does anyone else have any other questions? Okay, well, like I said, I'm going to switch my computer. I've had a little bit of computer problems today, so would you know it? But I think I've got my tech support came home, so he's been working on my computer. So I'm going to switch over to my computer and come back with where are we now in just a second.
Okay, we'll stall a little longer. Jenna, what do you have to say tonight? You got anything?
I did have one thing to say. I was going to save it for the board meeting, but I'm happy to say it now. It's not lost on me how much work Lily and Whitney have done to create this experience. Really elevating it from our 2022 experience that we had virtually and the previous one to that. You know, really being intentional with the amount of days that we're having the conference, but also with a variety of subjects that really they were listening to our community when they put this agenda together. And it definitely has been hours and hours and months of their time. So it's greatly appreciated. For Lily, it's volunteer work and she's off to med school shortly. So thank you. And Whitney, who we are lucky to have as a staff member, is overseas in Germany. And she is such a value for our organization as well. So thank you to both of you. Wanted to also thank you in the board meeting, but it's nice to kind of kick it off because the look, the feel, our new logo, everything being implemented, and just the ease of technology that you guys have done to set all of this up is greatly appreciated. So thank you to you too.
And then I'll also just plug some upcoming sessions. Tomorrow, Rita, who's on this call, will be hosting the Adults with Nevus Happy Hour, which is always one of my favorites. Around the same time, we also have a game night for kids and teens. The ages are pretty flexible if you have anyone, as long as they're able to turn on Zoom, they're welcome to attend. And then Saturday, we have a panel of parents and of Nevus owners as well as Nevus owners, which is a great time for people to ask questions, as well as a panel of experts in CMN research and healthcare. So it's not too late to submit questions for both of those panels. You can just DM our Instagram account for Nevus Outreach and submit any questions you want asked to the panelists. I think you're muted, Lauren, if you're ready to go.
Yes, I am ready to go. Thank you, Lily. I appreciate that. And so now our first session to kick off the evening, as I was alluded to before, was, can you repost the virtual link? Lily, I'll let you see if you can help Lizzie in the comments. So our first session tonight is called Nevus Outreach, where are we now? So I'll get that kicked off here in just a second. Share my screen. Okay, can you see that? All right, so it's always interesting to me as we kind of frame our Nevus Outreach years from conference to conference. And that's kind of how in my brain, like, okay, once one conference is over, what are we doing to get to the next one? And especially as we've added these virtual conference experiences in, it kind of gives me a nice goalpost to say, okay, where are we at? What have we done? And where are we going now? So in this session, I'm going to cover where we are now. And I want to start with our very first slide. So most of you know, when I was hired by Nevus Outreach in 2019, I was the sole staff member of our organization, and until Whitney came on. So Whitney Casal is the next photo here. So you'll see my picture, and then underneath that is Whitney, and she serves as our director of membership and metrics. So she really designed our membership program as a volunteer on our membership committee, and then had the opportunity to come and lead that experience for our members. And we'll talk a little bit about that. And she has a whole presentation that we're going to hear from her in a little bit to deep dive into that. And then we've also brought on 3 additional contractors who serve us in a very part-time capacity, anywhere from about 5 to 10 hours a week, these other 3 ladies. So Stephanie Allen Burtz is our most recent hire. She is our executive assistant, and she is the one that has begun to help us better understand our back end operations and really execute that with incredible detail. She's also a pretty talented graphic designer, and we happen to be able to use her for our website design for our nevusconference.org website as well. So for this conference website that we'll continue to use for both our virtual and in-person experiences. So we're thankful for her expertise in that realm as well. And then Lexi, pictured here with her pretty new baby, who's now about 6 months old, is our accounting specialist. So she does all of our accounts payable and accounts receivable, and just make sure that our books are done in a timely manner. And then Kim Hugendorn, most of you probably know, she's been in the Nevus community for several years now. Her son Ethan has a bathing truck Nevus and is I believe he's 13 or 14 now. And she came on board at the 2022 conference as our conference coordinator after Kathy Fox's departure. So, and she's really excited about our 2024 conference and would love to see the organization grow for her to do events, both conference and maybe even regional group events in a more permanent capacity, if you will, in the future, if that opportunity so presents itself. She's really enjoying that role and has really invested a lot of time and energy to grow in that space. So all in all, I'm really pleased with our team and just that we've been able to grow. And after we had hired Whitney part-time, I read an article in Forbes magazine about fractional is the future. And it talked about how in lots of cases, especially in the nonprofit space, it makes sense for organizations to partner with people on a fractional basis because you're able to get higher quality employees for and only paying them for the time that you're utilizing them. And it has really made for a smart model for Nevus Outreach, and we really have been able to reap the benefits of having this full team work together. And you'll even see it as we kind of unfold all the things that we've been up to since the last conference. You'll see exactly where we inserted an extra energy beyond just the scope of things that I'm able to do. So we start nearly every meeting that we do at Nevus Outreach with reminding of a reading of our mission. Our board meetings often start with the board members sharing why the mission is impactful to them. And it really helps us keep our minds and information centered on what our mission is and why it matters. So I'm going to start that with this evening. Nevus Outreach is dedicated to bringing awareness, providing support, and finding cures for people affected by congenital melanocytic nevi and related disorders. And I'll share what this mission means to me. And I encourage you to think about in your own experiences over the weekend, what this mission really means to you. When I talk about bringing awareness, obviously, as a parent of a child with Nevus, as most of you who have lived that experience, you didn't know what in the world a Nevus was until you felt like you needed to know everything about it. And so really bringing that larger picture awareness is so important. And the support that I experienced the very first time that I came to a Nevus Outreach event, the 2018 conference, as soon as I experienced it, I knew that it was just a magical, I hate to use the word magical, that makes it seem juvenile, but just a very powerful experience that really did change the trajectory of my life and how I understood that Nevus owners needed that community. And it's one of my goals professionally to publish a paper talking about the impact of patient advocacy organizations and how people involved with patient advocacy organizations have better long-term outcomes, both health-wise and mental health-wise. And so I think providing that support is so important. And of course, finding cures is paramount to our mission. I would love to get to a place where we spend more research dollars than we do anything else. And we've worked really hard over the last few months to cultivate relationships that bring about real sustainable research that's not piggybacked on grandparents or a hot dog eating contest or a 5K, but to really do the kind of research that we want to do will take national and international investments, and we're laying that groundwork now. So that's just what the mission means to me, and how I have encountered it in my own life, and how I try to live it out every day. And I know you guys can't see because I have the virtual background, but one of the things I recently did in my office was I hung pictures of Nevus owners that we've displayed at the conference before in my office. And I love it because it just kind of brings me back to that why every single day. So Tatiana and Drew and a few others are keeping me company in my office here every day. And it's just great to have that visual reminder of this mission and why it does matter so much. So since we launched our membership program last year, one of the things that we get asked the most is how many members do we have and how many households is that? So I wanted to share that information just right off the forefront. So we have 490 Nevus owners that Nevus Outreach currently has checked the box and said, yes, I'm a registered member of Nevus Outreach. So 490 Nevus owners, Nevus patients, and then 735 members who have also registered. And then that breaks down to 346 member households. So we are really pleased with that. These numbers span 6 continents, which is absolutely mind-blowing to me. But that is a result that we did not expect at all. We knew that we had an international reach, but we really did not understand how many people around the world are getting their information about CMN from Nevus Outreach. And so we're really proud of that. And we know that this is just the tip of the iceberg, but knowing these numbers are really powerful. And I could spend a whole other half hour talking about that, but I'll let Whitney do that in another session. So if you're interested in why we need these numbers and why we're so proud of them and how they're so impactful for us as an organization, be sure to listen into the Membership Matters stuff that we'll get to right after this very session. So it's coming next. So I kind of just wanted to walk you through our year. I will not read all this to you, but I did want to just point out a few things. So we went back to July of 2022 and said, okay, what have we been up to? And so I'll just point out some of the things that I'm particularly, that I feel like has been particularly impactful for the organization. So in July at the conference, as many of you may know, the Gregory family gave a gift with the intention of spurring a pathway from membership to registry. And that's been allowed our organization to elevate Whitney's role in a much quicker rate. So we renegotiated her contract with her, and she came on board we're about a 30-hour week role now. So she's nearly full-time. And that has allowed us to really hone in on membership, really try to promote it as best we can, and have somebody give that a lot of their attention. And so that's been really great. And then we also began planning in August, so almost a year ago, for our nevus.org relaunch. So we started talking about the fact that we need a new website and what could that look like, and just started dreaming a little bit about what a new nevus.org could look like. And then in September, I was proud to follow in the footsteps of the late Paul Coleman, our beloved board chair, and his work that he started with the Coalition of Skin Diseases. He served as their treasurer for 2 years. And I came on in September as their secretary. So now we have both served on that board, proudly representing Nevus Outreach. And that first year term is about to be done. So I just have a year left. So we were talking succession planning in our board meeting this week. So it's just been really crazy to think how quickly those 2 years have gone by. But I still have a year left, and I'm really excited about the things that we have going on. And then also in September, you'll see that we started planning this virtual conference. So it has taken almost a full year to start thinking about what this process looks like. So, and then in October, we traveled a lot in October and in September and October, and went to the NORD Rare Across America event. For those of you that might be new to our space, the NORD stands for National Organization for Rare Disorders. So they're kind of an umbrella organization that Nevus Outreach fits under, but they have a lot of great information about rare disease and its impact on patients across the world. And we're proud to partner with them at various events throughout the year, and they are happy to let us exhibit and have really given us space to build connection. And then Marilee Vance came on as our conference committee chair, and we extended a contract to Kim Horgendorn to help us plan the 2024 conference, and they got right to work. So October 2022, planning for the 2024 conference. Yes, it really does take that long to check all the boxes and do all the things. And then in November, Jenna and Wyatt and Judy Daniels and I attended an Asking Academy fundraising training in Oklahoma. To our knowledge, this is the first time that a full staff and board group from Nevus Outreach has attended any type of fundraising training together. And that was a very valuable experience, and we're excited to put those skills to work in the coming months. And then also in November, I was actually listed as an author on a pediatric paper that was published in the Journal of Pediatric Dermatology. That was a first for me. My sister had a academic paper published when she was in graduate school, and I told her that, congratulations, that's fantastic, and never thought that my day would come for an academic paper, but it did. And it was on cross-cutting themes in dermatology. So very thankful to kind of more or less be in the room where it happened, and learned a lot about that editing process along the way. And then Lily, who you heard from earlier, and myself and Maggie Mangold went to the PEDRA conference in Bethesda, Maryland, and we really began to have a think tank around a registry and what does that look like and who do we need to get involved. And then in December, we launched our rebranding project and did our year-end appeal. And in 2023, in January, did our kickoff meeting for virtual conference, but then moving on to February, did our rare disease activities with another visit to Capitol Hill with the rare disease legislative advocates. And we're able to add Stephanie on staff as executive assistant, and we have her for 8 hours a week. And she is a force in that 8 hours. And so it's just been really incredible. And we completed a site visit to St. Louis and chose our 2024 conference property, which we can't wait to share with you later this weekend. And then we went to AAD in March, and again had some very impactful meetings. We got to meet with Dr. Michael Sargent, who you'll hear from this weekend, and some other physicians who are really teaming up to drive this registry project forward. So it was a very impactful few days in New Orleans. And I was able to present at the CSD Development Day that CSD hosted on donor stewardship. And that donor stewardship packet has now been downloaded over 300 times. So that's really incredible that that many people in the rare disease space are looking to us to say, how do we do that? And I feel like we just kind of figured it out in the last few months and have had a very impactful member of our fundraising committee that has really coached me a lot and has really helped elevate that. And then as I move into the spring, as you can tell we're operating with a full team here. This list is a lot longer in just a few short months. So, but mainly want to mention that Andrea Bischoff and I went to the CSD Hill Day in April. This was the first time that CSD had done their own Hill Day. It had been a goal of the committee since Paul was on the board, so to see it come to fruition, and he even be recognized in that event for his work to kind of come in and lay the groundwork for the event that we finally got to see happen in 2023 was pretty incredible. And we also launched our organizational operations committee, which you're not going to see a lot from that committee, but you're going to feel it, hopefully. We're spending a lot of time writing policies and procedures and just really digging into the nuts and bolts of Nevus Outreach and trying to get some playbooks written and some guides and laying some groundwork for what we hope is the next 25 years, so that when this leadership rides off into the sunset, that there's something for it to keep going and keep building on. And then we launched our new brand in May. So I hope you guys love it as much as we do. As we've seen it unfold over the last few months, it's been really great to see it come to life in all these different places. And then in June, Whitney went to our global skin meeting in Brussels, and it's been really nice to have someone in Europe. And I actually just learned about a new opportunity that she may have in the next couple of months to do some more representing Nevus Outreach on a global scale. So it's been really nice to have her there and that be her home base. And we just make it work with either really early or really late phone calls, but it's really great. And just to kind of put together the virtual conference has been a huge piece of over the last few months. And you'll see all the things that you'll see again as you experience the virtual conference this month. So I will say that we hope you find that this condensed conference experience serves you well, but there is an opportunity for you to provide feedback in every daily email. There's a link. So you can go back to your daily email and click the link and just give us some feedback on your virtual conference experience and let us know what you liked, what you didn't like, and hopefully as we continue to build these virtual experiences out on off conference years, we'll take that feedback to heart. One of the things that we heard last time was a more condensed schedule would probably be more conducive for people. So we're trying that this year instead of spreading the events out over a whole month. So that just kind of wraps up where we are and what we've been up to and what our goals and ambitions are for the organization at present. And I hope that it's been enlightening to you to kind of see the work that we've accomplished since the last conference. And I would be happy to answer any questions that anybody may have around those activities and the things that you see.
Lauren, quick question. So
Sure.
you used a lot of organizations that you guys interface with rare disease. As you put the package together, would you give us sort of a crib sheet of who they are and what they do and how Nevus interacts with them? Because then it's like, those are places where we should also be supportive if we get the chance, right?
Yes, that's a great point. That's a great point, Kathleen. I wonder if that's something we can add to our Nevus, like our new website as we launch that, have like a partnerships section where we could kind of link those different websites and explain why those partnerships are valuable to us. But that's a great idea. I'm so used to the lingo that I forget that there's so many that are new that are like, who's the CSD again? Oh yeah.
What are those acronyms? I've never heard those before. So yeah, that would be perfect, especially if you put them on the website, then everybody has access to them and we can learn those, right?
And I can, yes, and I can do like a little cheat sheet with our recordings for this session as if they come up, because they will. I'm already thinking about other presentations that have the abbreviations in them, but I think that's a great idea. So like a little cheat sheet to go out with our recordings and then dive in a little deeper when we get the nevus.org website up in a couple of weeks. I think that's a great.
So that's what happens when you do this. You just get more work on your plate.
Oh no, that's totally fine. I welcome it. welcome it. Okay, any other questions? Okay, well, with that, I will get stuff queued up for the next session, which is that message from Whitney on membership matters.